Okay, so can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Mel.
Hi, Mel. So, Mel, can you tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel the economy is right now?
Personally, I would rate it about a 7. I think there is definitely room for improvement, but overall, I think that it has been improving since COVID took a huge hit.
Okay. And Mel, you told me before you're a nurse, so can you tell me about that?
I'm a nurse, so I just actually graduated college this spring, and I moved to the area in July to start working as a nurse. And I think I've noticed a lot since COVID, especially with travel nursing and everything, that hospitals have been working a lot to improve not only patient satisfaction and patient experiences, but that of its employees, which I think is really important because they see that employees are now becoming more aware that if they're not appreciated and they're not taken care of, that they will leave, and that we have that opportunity to. And so I think it's been a positive shift in how we've been being valued and how we're being both financially and just like environmentally shown that we're appreciated.
And so, Mel, you said there's a lot more, you feel like there's a lot more appreciation for you guys in a real effort to keep attrition down with the nurses. Do you feel that so you told me that you're a young nurse and you've just kind of entered the workforce and
Yes.
just graduated very recently. Do you feel that at the same time your other friends who are entering other industries, that they're also seeing a real conscientious effort by the employers to kind of raise morale and keep things better, make things better essentially for the workforce?
I think so. I think that just in general, I think especially post-COVID, employers have been, and with people leaving positions they don't feel valued, I think just in general, not just in hospital, but I think a lot of employers across the board in professional settings and everything are becoming more aware of what people appreciate and how people desire to be taken care of, kind of. Like one of my good friends just started as an accountant, and so I think a lot of professional settings have seen the transition to more online settings. Like she has the option of working in person 3 times a week, and then she has the option of working online on Fridays and Mondays, so she has an option of like a longer weekend if she should so choose. And so I think a lot of people are going more online shifts, I've noted, and I think that people appreciate that more because they're able to do more things on their own schedule that they feel.
So how does that work with you? Can you be hybrid if you so choose?
No, nursing's pretty in person, so I have to be in person, but they my hospital's been great about making sure that we're only working so many hours a week. They do somewhat yearly, like a couple times a year, they'll do raises. I had a pretty good sign-on bonus, stuff like that. They're making sure that and if we do, work overtime, that we're compensated well.
And Mel, you said that you're kind of tentatively looking at travel nursing as a potential future kind of path. Can you talk about that?
I think personally for me, it really just depends on how I continue liking the area that I'm working in, how I continue liking DC in general, and if I still feel fairly compensated. I think for me, just because I am so young and I have the ability to travel, I think it would be enjoyable for me because it is financially more, but also I think just the actual travel aspect of it, I think I would really enjoy, just to be able to see more areas and things like that, just to kind of try a lot of things out.
Good. And Mel, do you feel like you're pretty much well compensated for what you do at this stage of your career?
I do. This was, I applied actually a lot of places. I applied all over kind of the Eastern Seaboard, and this in DC was, I think, the most fair compensation for the cost of living of where it was, and so that's part of the reason I chose it.
So you did a pretty big comparison, looking all up and down the East Coast. What were some of the other places that you found? Did you? I guess let me ask it like this: did you settled on here because you found that the ratio was basically best, right?
Right.
Cost of living to your salary. How did it compare? Was this the only place that you got an offer, or were there other places where you got an offer and there was a worse comparison for that ratio?
So I got another offer in Indiana, which is where I'm from, and it did not it did not pay as well for where the cost of living was. It didn't pay as well, period, but also cost of living is cheaper in Indiana in the Midwest. So that was lower, and it had a smaller sign-on bonus. But then, and so I only got a couple offers, just because once I got this one, I kind of took it. But I did apply in New Hampshire and Vermont and Maine and there's a lot of nursing information. Like, there's a lot of ways you can find out what other RNs are making in your area. There's a lot of like, people are very open about it, and I think that's awesome. So I was able to do some research and see what other people in the area were making, and comparatively for the like cost of living I looked at, like especially in Maine, one of the ones I looked at, and one of the ones in New Hampshire, it was not as high. Like the cost of living was cheaper, and the what you make is less than I make here, but also like it was closer.
Yeah.
The gap was closer.
Can I ask you about Maine, in Maine where you were looking? Because I'm from Maine.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
funny. I looked
It
in,
is high. It's the cost of living in Maine is exceptionally high, and people don't probably recognize it.
Right. I looked in Portsmouth specifically.
So Portsmouth is New Hampshire, right? And
Oh my gosh, sorry. And,
so that's New Hampshire.
Oh
and
my
then-
gosh, yes.
Was it Portland?
Portland, yes, thank you. Oh my gosh, yes, Portland.
Okay.
Portland. It was in
Yep.
Portland.
Yeah, so Portland is actually, it's boomed. It's become very popular. But like you said, probably you were comparing the cost of living to the salaries there, and there. I think you found what a lot of people will find, which is what I already know because I'm from there.
Right.
Is that it's not that advantageous in
Right.
terms of how expensive it's become.
Yes,
relative
it was.
to-
It really was
Yeah.
for like a single person living there. I don't know very much about dual income because I am a single person, but yes, just for like a studio or one bedroom compared to what RNs were making in the area was not something I was willing to spend, basically.
And can I ask then, what did you find that that's kind of shock? That would probably shock a lot of people who see this, because DC is notorious for having a super high cost of living.
Yeah, it still does.
and it does, and it deservedly so, right? But a place like Portland, Maine, isn't as well known for that.
Right, you would think.
What would you? Can I ask what you pay here, or what kind of range you?
I pay, I think, $17.70 for my studio.
Well, that's not actually that bad. What were you What were you finding in Portland?
Oh gosh, it's been so long. I think it was probably around the same, or like 1,500-ish for maybe one bedroom studios. It was like the actual apartment itself rent was very comparable, but the pay was not as much as I make here. And so that was kind of the difference for me. Is like cost of living is still the same, but what I would be making was not.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, awesome. That was so good.